We're here with head coach Mike Clark after another win down at Emory and Henry. We keep talking about positive play in all three phases. Your defense held an opponent under 200 yards for the fourth straight week. Your offense has only turned the ball over 4 times all year. You got a special team score for the 4th time in 5 games. You keep getting week to week contributions from all three.
Well, I think with the caliber of competition we're playing, we're going to need that. And I think, it was a tough place for us to play. I think to be able to win, and I think we kind of played off each other in terms of certainly early on. I think we took the win, which is a good decision. We made early in the game, and our defense to get those early 3 and outs, and we really kind of controlled field position in the first quarter because with their defensive front and as they came after us, yardage was tough to come by. We had a tough time protecting our passer, but I do think that the things that determine who wins football games, turnovers, advantages in the kicking game, and explosion plays, because we had Devontae Smith, I think, had 4 of those himself, and in some critical situations, Jay Scroggins stepped up and put the ball right on the money, and that was a great game to win. Got beat up a little bit, so sometimes that happens in football. It's been one of the things that we've avoided, but I think at this stage in the game, you're going to have, these are the cards you got, you better go out and play them well.
And that couldn't have set up a bigger game this weekend. You host Randolph-Macon here, and this is for the championship. You don't always get a championship game in D3 college football, but for this conference we have one this year. It's going to be a tough team. They're strong on both lines. They can run the ball. What are we expecting for this?
Well, I think it is. You're right. It's a big. I can think back to 2000. I think in week 11 against Catholic was one of those last times we really had a play and get in, win and you're in game. I think it's interesting. The neat thing about sports and life is you set goals. And I remember when the season started, I said, boy, my goal was I wanted to get one of the 2 postseason opportunities that is available to ODAC football. We've secured that, but I also think now I want a little bit more, and there's no question. I'm excited. We've had a great year, but I think you're going to have a defending champion coming in here who is playing like a champion. I think in their case, you don't win 7 games in a row by accident. I think particularly against good football teams, when they've had to make plays in the 4th quarter to win, they've done it. But, I think that's why you play the game. We sat down and met with our kids on Monday. We're really not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I think the system we put together is paying dividends and giving us the results, and it's kind of an ingredient you don't talk about much, but I told our kids, make sure you get up every day and enjoy this. That's why you play. As you mentioned, it doesn't come down often, and it's a neat opportunity, not just for our players, but for their families and our fans.
I think you started to answer what I was going to ask next. In a week like this, how do you keep everyone focused? What else can you do, especially with everything swirling around? You mentioned the postseason opportunities on the outside. There's noise about what's coming after this week too, but you got to keep everyone focused on this game.
Well, I think we've tried to. Our formula's been throughout the year. Particularly as you started winning games, is when everybody else starts wanting to talk big. You got to talk small. You got to think small. Think about the detail. I think when you're having a Randolph-Macon team that comes in that. They're built a lot like us. They don't turn the ball over. They're going to run the ball. It's going to be about ball control. It's going to be a game of limited possessions, and probably the first time in a while, it's probably a game where on both sides of the ball, I would bet points would be hard to come by in this game. But I think what you really have to try to do is for us to go out and to beat a defending champion that right now has a reason to play very confidently. We're not going to go out there and beat them by being their equal. We're going to have to go out there and make a preparation and show up and be better than they are, and that's going to be a tough task, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure our kids are too.
And what are you hoping to see from the fans this weekend?
Well, I know that I got a call from a former player, wanted to know if I had any inside dibs on extra tailgate areas, and I told him I'm not in the tailgate business. I also told our players, I said, the games like this, manage the distractions on Monday. So by Thursday and Friday, you're just on game focus, and that's what we're going to try to do. My hope is it's our Bleed Crimson game. I picked that months ago, not knowing the magnitude of the game, and hey, come and have a great time. But when we kick off, I'm going to ask you to be in the stands cheering for us. It makes a difference.